It's that time again, Our Town Live, where friends, family, people you know share with us their unique bits of wisdom. And now, here's Herb, your host, for another show.
What a great time to talk to Dr. Werner Krings, an international author, keynote speaker, and thought leader in business-to-business excellence, with a focus on business development and sales acceleration. He received the LinkedIn Top Social Selling Award 2017, demonstrated that his practitioner expertise and doctoral research made a significant impact. His professional career of 28 years focuses on business consulting and development, marketing and sales, primarily in the DACH, Western European, and North American regions. Now, without further ado, let's talk to Dr. Krings and how he handles the coronavirus. What is your primary expertise? What do you do?
I'm currently a professor for marketing and digital and social media marketing here in the Boston area, and also for entrepreneurship in Oxford, UK. And due to the current challenge, we do this all online, starting the following weeks.
Your bio said that you focus on business consulting and development. I'm going to get right to the point because of where the country is and the world is right now. How would you advise companies, corporations, small businesses to handle the aftermath when all of this mess is over? How should they handle their employees, their economics, their business, their everything?
Yes. First of all, when all is over, it's very critical to build and re-establish credible and trustworthy relationship between employers and employees and other stakeholders. And I think it's very important that we currently care because from the financial point of view, there are a lot of funds available. So as I understood, the President of the United States, as well as also the leaders in Europe, especially, the G7 leaders, so there are a lot of options in place to preserve the economy. And I think it's very important that for companies to reflect on it, but to really instill hope. Yeah, we have to. America is very known as a pioneer nation, so we are innovative, and we never give up. Means we really have to instill this atmosphere of credibility, trust, and confidence, because this is critical to our economy.
I want to leave politics out of the next question and try to answer it non-politically.
Yes.
Should the government officials be optimistic or pessimistic as to where we are and where we're going?
I think it's very important, I would say, to be realistic, meaning you have to, of course, you can't deny what is currently happening. So I think, to quote here, do the 5 help to stop the coronaviruses. You have to use common sense, follow their suggestions, for example, to wash your hands, to cover into elbows, don't touch your face, keep safe distance, stay, if you can, in a home office. So I think that's all very important to follow, but it's very important also to create an atmosphere of hope and trust, because we hear that the media currently 24/7, they just fill you up with fear. And it looks like that the masses of the citizens get overloaded by fear. Coming from a Judeo perspective or a Christian perspective, coronavirus 119, I hold against this Psalm 91. And we should not worry about viruses, because if we take this bias or this perspective, we can, I'm talking here about the Boston area, I can worry about Lyme disease, triple E, which is actually at the university in this town where I'm teaching, very prevalent. So we have to really get, we have to follow common sense. We have to follow the suggestions of, I don't care who's now the president or who not, the local authorities, and then we have to have trust in ourselves that we can go optimistically through this crisis. Yeah? Does
Yes.
this answer the question?
To change course a little bit, because we could probably conjecture about what everybody should do in the future, I'm going to invite you that after this is all over, we're going to get together again and see how we did in prognostication and see how the country did in handling. So with that said, right now I'd like to get a little close-up and personal with you and find out how long what you do.
Yeah, I've been working since 1990 in various consulting industries, and I'm now also a professor since 2019. I've been teaching, however, before at private university in business development, consulting, and marketing for a few years now. And I'm also an executive coach, and currently this challenge we have needs a lot of coaching. And this is something companies should consider because it's about the mindset. And let me give you here a specific example. We know the placebo from the medicine and the nocebo. For example, if you convey the message that you have only 6 months to live, that would be a nocebo. If you have a placebo, you would say longevity can be increased by forming healthy habits. So, and both concepts are very much developed through verbal suggestions, conditioning, and social observation. And in the crisis we currently face, it's very important to use rather the placebo than the nocebo. We know this from our when you go to a dentist, you get a very bad report, and suddenly you develop the pain or the symptoms. But I think it's very important to have a second opinion, and that's positive consulting, not fear, unbelief, and doubt, but really look at what can you achieve, what can you accomplish. It's very solution-oriented, and that brings you out of this fear trap or this paralyzing state where people tend to give up. And I recently heard a professor of virology in Boston University. She said the most critical danger of the whole situation currently is that people have mental challenges. The sickness is one thing, but the most important is we undergo change. And if we don't embrace the change but resist the change and get hung up into negativity, and that of course takes the focus or the bias from surviving and from never giving up and moving forward, for which we Americans are known for this kind of mindset, to the mindset, we give up and we just listen to what we hear in the news, and then we eventually, of course, lose our hope. And that, of course, would be catastrophic for our economy. Yeah? So, very important is that we master these challenges through, all the systems which are in place now, social distance, online learning, home office, and help us to avoid spreading this virus. But we have to look forward. We can't get stuck and look on death rate every day, because there's really no evidence that everything is true. I mean, if you, for example, look what America or Europe had to deal with in the last few years, Was it the swine flu, the bird flu? I mean, there are a lot of those challenges, and of course we had a lot of cases as well, and death as well, but we got always through it. And that's probably what we currently have to learn to say, okay, at the end of that darkness there is light, and we have to focus on the light rather than getting stuck in between.
What accomplishments in your career are you most proud of?
I would say, and I answer this twofold, business-like, I would say I've gained thorough experience through various industries, which of course helped me then also to do, to cope with subjects which are not immediately in my first focus. Academically, I think I did a doctorate at one of the top global business schools, which is equivalent to the Harvard doctorate or Boston University doctorate, and I did it very well. So I'm very proud of both, but I'm also very thankful for the support I have and have had from my wife, as well as great professionals and also great researchers.
What are some of the main problems you see that prevent other people from being successful in what you do?
Yes, I think very important is sometimes we have enemies in our close environment. Everybody has a unique and specific personality, and sometimes I think the most challenge everybody of us face is to find that purpose we have in life, to make that place of the earth here a better place, and then go for it. And that can be sometimes stifled through your environment as you are now, and they often don't see your potential. So I think you have to be in love with people. Let's say you grow up in a family, but you have to pursue your purpose. And then, it's often so when you are in the beginning, people don't see what potential you do have. And it's easier when you have all the victories that they celebrate you, but the beginning can be sometimes very lonely. You have to believe in yourself, but you have to also, if you do not have that environment that is supportive, you have to really then sometimes move ahead and leave things, sometimes also people behind who do not believe in the potential you have. Everybody has a God-given potential, and it's very critical that we achieve this in life, because we want to bring this world ahead. And if you look in medicine, if you look in the business world, if you're an entrepreneur, you have an innovation, you have to sometimes struggle in the beginning because people don't believe it. But once you overcome this so-called temporary hardships or this hostile environment, then, and you succeed, then people start believing or following you. And I think that's one of the challenges each of us has, but it's not important where or how you grow up necessarily, if you have that portion of belief or vision in you yourself. I grew up in Germany. I knew when I was 5 years old I wanted to go to the United States, and it seemed not possible for me, and it took me, of course, some decades, but that vision was always, let's say, in me, and finally I'm now a dual citizen. Yeah.
What has been your greatest failure in your career?
I mean, I'll be honest, my greatest failure is I grew up in a family. We had a really good family business, and I did a banking internship with a leading bank in Germany, and they saw me as a future, let's say, business owner or business manager there. And unfortunately, that family did not have the vision for our generation, and that was for me painful. Yes, yeah. So I had all the knowledge, all the experience. I prepared for that role for years.